Vanessa Feltz here discussing #MeToo. Kate Blanchett says it hasn't taken root in Hollywood. Has it taken root here in the UK? Push my subscribe button on my YouTube channel to find out. Kate Blanchett, the Oscar-winning actress, has just said in an interview that #MeToo has not really taken root in America. She's terribly disappointed. She thought it would. She thought that the incarceration and the trial of Harvey Weinstein and all the other men accused of predatory, intimidating, sexually abusive, sexually threatening behavior, particularly men in positions of power imposing their sexual will and whims on women, would be over because it would be so highly publicized. It would be so absolutely reviled by the world, who would say, my God, how could anyone behave in such a despicable way? That there was this huge outpouring of #MeToo, all women all over the world coming together to say, it happened to me, it happened to me, it happened to me. And I remember I was broadcasting in 2017. I was live on the BBC when the first allegations against Harvey Weinstein surfaced. And I know exactly what I said to my lovely listeners on the BBC that morning. I said, is this just a Hollywood thing? Is this just a showbiz thing? Is this just a casting couch? I'll only give you a part in my film if you do this sexual thing for me and this sexual favor and do this sexual thing for me. Is it just Hollywood? Is it just showbiz? I said, because I don't think it's got anything to do with that at all. I said, I think that sort of behavior is prevalent in mini-cap companies, in the geography department of schools, in banks, in advertising agencies, in hairdressing salons, in other words, absolutely everywhere. It's not just Hollywood actresses, it's everywhere. And the lines in the switchboard lit up. It looked like the Blackpool illuminations, all the lines lit up. And there was simply female caller after female caller after female caller, all saying the same thing. It happened to me on the bus coming home from school. I was in my school uniform. Happened to me on the tube. It happened to me in the street. It happened to me in this job, this job. I was senior. I was junior. I was an apprentice. I was the boss. It went on and on and on and on. The lines were absolutely flooded with calls. So just like Kate Blanchett, I think, and women all over the world, I hoped that #MeToo wouldn't just take root, but would transform the way that men in positions of power behave. Not just behave, but also think. That they would start to think, this woman is a person, a rounded human being, a professional in the workplace who deserves to be treated with respect and to be encouraged and to be regarded in exactly the same way as you would regard any other colleague, not demeaned, diminished, bullied, threatened, touched, pinched, groped, pushed up against a desk, locked in the stationery cupboard, chased around any part of this premises or anything else. That you know, women are women, women are people, men are people. We all have to treat each other with professionalism and respect in the workplace, on the bus, on the train, and bloody well everywhere else. I was really, really hoping that we were inching towards it. Now, Kate Blanchett says #MeToo hasn't taken root in Hollywood. I don't think it's taken root here either. I do not think so in the least. I think Andrew Tate and all those other misogynistic so-called leaders who encourage men to behave in the most misogynistic, female-hating, threatening, bullying, unpleasant, dehumanizing way are taking hold and winning followers everywhere. I fear that Donald Trump and his henchmen have a similar attitude to women. We know that Donald Trump uttered the revolting and execrable phrase, grab them by the pussy. Grab them by the pussy. I mean, for God's sake, imagine if we said you just walked up to a strange man and just grabbed him by the gonads. I mean, I can't imagine anyone thinking that that was an appropriate way of going on, or any woman wanting to do that either. And I fear that #MeToo hasn't had the impact here that we hoped it would, hasn't stamped out that kind of behavior, either in the workplace or outside it. And I think Wynne Evans' behavior on Strictly pretty much bears this out. So this is a man who'd already just survived what looked like a sort of groping scandal during the live broadcast of Strictly. You know, his hand was seen inching round his partner Katja Jones's waist until she slaps it back on television. The two of them conspired to pass it off as nothing, just a private joke, but it must have been embarrassing behind the scenes. He must have felt, oh my God, I really should not be seen to do something like that, and I should not just be seen to do it, I shouldn't do it. He must have felt, gosh, that was a near miss. I'd better be on my best behavior. Scroll forward just a matter of a few weeks, really, to the Strictly Tour. It is the launch of the Strictly Tour. He is on the stage with all the other professionals and all the other competitors in Strictly who are going to be dancing on the tour, and the press absolutely massed and banked around them because this is the announcement of the tour. And what does he do? He makes a comment that is absolutely repulsive about Jeanette Manrara, who, you know, is a professional colleague, is an accomplished dancer, an accomplished presenter, a wife, a mother, in the presence of her husband, in the presence of everybody else who's taking part in the tour, and in the presence of the world's press, some of whom have the presence of mind to record it. Lift up a phone, a smartphone, and just record him saying it. And what he said was A, revolting, B, despicable, C, predatory, D, bullying, 3, D, F, G, you know, it goes on and on and on and on. I mean, it was in every way demeaning to women, insulting to Jeanette Manrara, an affront to decent behavior, a complete disregarding of #MeToo, as if it had never happened, as if, you know, the old ways are still the good ways. You know, nobody's even realized that you shouldn't make jokes like that or comments like that about women in public or indeed in private. That has never happened. Weinstein never went to prison. #MeToo never happened. There's been no heightening of consciousness or awareness about this sort of thing. It's just how it used to be in the good old 1940s, 50s and 60s. Well, it isn't. It really isn't. We ought to have moved on. It is despicable to behave like this. It is despicable for anyone to get away with behaving like this. It is despicable, I think, for anyone to defend behaving in this nasty, bullying, sexually predatory, disrespectful way. And I, for one, am not sorry that Wynne is no longer on the Strictly Tour. Thank you for watching my discussion of #MeToo and whether anyone in this country is really taking the tiniest bit of notice of it. Just push my subscribe button on my YouTube channel. Thanks a lot.